Create chart in JFreeChart. Now we are focusing on create chart. The create chart is the method which is executed to create final chart. A chart is a graphical representation for data visualization in which the data is represented by symbols such as bars in a bar chart, lines in a line chart, or slices in a pie chart. A chart can represent tabular numeric data functions or some kinds of quality structure and provides different info. As an example, we can consider class chart factory, a collection of utility methods for creating some standard charts with JFreeChart. This class is in org.jfree.chart package. As an example too, we can consider this code segment. Here the method public static JFreeChart create pie chart 3D string title pie dataset boolean legend, boolean tooltips, and boolean URLs. This creates a 3D pie chart using the specified dataset. The chart objects returns by this method uses pie-plot 3D instance. As the plot. Here the title, the chart title null permitted, dataset, the dataset for the chart null permitted. Here the legend, a flag specifying whether or not the legend is required. Tooltips, configure chart to generate tooltips. URLs, configure chart to generate URLs. The JFreeChart, the class JFreeChart here, a chart class implemented using the Java 2D APIs. The current version supports bar charts, line charts, pie charts, and XY plots, including time series data. Here the method getPlot returns the plot for the chart. The plot is a class responsible for coordinating the visual representation of data, including axis, if any. Here the class pie-plot 3D, a plot that uses a plot that displays data in the form of 3D pie chart. Using data from any class that implements the pie dataset. The method set start angle sets the starting angle and sends a plot change event to all registered listeners. The initial value is 90 degrees, which corresponds to 12 o'clock. The value 0 corresponds to 3 o'clock. This is the encoding used by Java Arc 2D class. Here you can see the parameters angle, the angle in degrees. The set direction method sets the direction in which the pie sections are drawn and sends a plot change event to all registered listeners. Here the direction here, null not permitted. Here the foreground alpha sets the alpha transparency for the plot and sends a plot change event to all registered listeners. Here you can see alpha in float value, the new alpha transparency here. As an example 3, we can consider this code segment. The method public static JFreeChart create bar chart string title string category x-axis label string value axis label category dataset plot orientation here, boolean legend here, boolean tooltips and boolean URLs. This method creates a bar chart. The chart object returned by this method uses a category plot instance as the plot with the category axis for the domain axis, a number axis as the range axis and a bar renderer as the renderer. Here the title, the chart title null permitted. Here the category axis label, the label for category axis null permitted. Here the value axis label, the label for the value axis null permitted. Dataset, the dataset for the chart null permitted. Orientation, the plot orientation horizontal or vertical null not permitted. Legend, the flag specifying whether or not the legend is required. Tooltips, configure chart to generate tooltips. URLs, configure chart to generate URLs. This method returns a bar chart. As an example 4, we can consider this code segment. Here the method public static JFreeChart create XY line chart string title string x-axis label string y-axis label XY dataset plot orientation boolean legend, boolean tooltips and boolean URLs. This method create a line chart based on an XY dataset with default settings. Here title, the chart title null permitted. Here x-axis label, a label for the x-axis null permitted. Here y-axis label, a label for y-axis null permitted. Dataset, the dataset for the chart null permitted. Orientation, the plot orientation horizontal or vertical null not permitted. Legend, a flag specifying whether or not legend is required. Tooltips, configure chart to generate tooltips. URLs, configure chart to generate URLs. This method returns the chart. Here the get xy plot, this returns the plot cast as xy plot. Not if the plot is not an instance of xy plot, then a class cast exception is thrown. Here the xy line and shape renderer, a renderer that connects data points with lines or draws shapes at each data points. This renderer is designed for use with the xy plot class. Here the set series paint returns the paint used to fill an item basically sets the paint used for a series and send a renderer change event to all registers listeners. This is the series index 0 based, and this is the paint null permitted. Here color.red. Here the set series stroke sets the stroke used for a series and sends a renderer change event to all registered listeners. Here this is the series index 0 based, and this is stroke. Here null permitted, and this is stroke. Here the set renderer sets the renderer for the primary data set and send a change event to all registered listeners. If the renderer is set to null, no data will be displayed. Here you can see the renderer. Here set background paint, set the background color of the plot area and sends the plot change event to all registered listeners. Likewise, there are other methods: set range grid lines visible, set range grid line paint, set domain grid lines visible, and set domain grid line paint. Here the method get legend returns the legend for the chart if there is one. Note that the chart can have more than one legend. This means returns the first. So this method returns the first. Here in the set frame sets the frame or border, and you can see the chart title here. So here the chart factory dot create xy line chart creates a new line chart. The parameters of the methods are here: chart title, x axis label, y axis label, data, plot orientation, the 3 flags indicating whether to show legend, tooltips, and URLs. We get a reference to the plot in order to customize it here. Here we set a stroke and color for the line of the chart. XY line and shape renderer is an object that connects data points with lines or draws shapes at each data point. Renderer is set with set renderer method. The set background paint sets the background color of the plot area. We show the grid lines and paint them in black color. And we remove the border around the legend, and we create the chart title with new font. Overview of package org.jfree.chart. This package contains the major classes and interfaces in the JFreeChart class library, including all the important JFreeChart classes. Package org.jfree.chart core classes, including JFreeChart and JFreeChart panel. Overview in chart color. This class defines some standard colors. Class chart color in package org.jfree.chart. Class to extend the number of colors available to the chart. This extends java.aw.color object and extend the number of final colors publicly accessible. Overview in chart factory. This class contains a range of convenient methods for creating standard types of charts. Class chart factory in package org.jfree.chart. A collection of utility methods for creating some standard charts with the JFreeChart. Hint: the use of these methods optional. Take a look at the source code for the method you are using to see if it might be better option to cut and paste the code into your application and then customize it to meet your requirements. Overview in chart mouse event. An event generated by the chart panel class to represent a mouse click or a mouse movement over a chart. Class chart mouse event in package org.jfree.chart. The mouse event for a chart that is displayed in the chart panel. These events are passed to listeners via chart mouse listener interface. Overview in chart mouse listener, an interface that defines the callback method for a chart mouse listener. The interface chart mouse listener in package org.jfree.chart. This the interface that must be implemented by classes that wish to receive chart mouse event notification from the chart panel. Any class that implements this interface can be registered with the chart panel and receive notification of the mouse events. This mechanism can be used to implement interactive charts ensuing application. Information about the chart element and the current mouse location is contained in the chart mouse event object. This is a low level mechanism but very flexible. Overview in chart panel, a panel that provides a convenient means to display free chart instance in chart swing-based user interface. Extend javax.swing.jpanel. Class chart panel in package org.jfree.chart. A swing GUI components for displaying JFreeChart object. Overview in chart rendering info. This class can be used to collect information about a chart as it is rendered, particularly information concerning the dimension of the various subcomponents of the chart. The class rendering info in package org.jfree.chart, a structure for storing rendering information from one call to the JFreeChart.draw method. Overview in chart utilities. This class contains utility methods for creating images from charts. Supported formats are PNG and JPG, generating HTML image maps. This class is removed now. Class chart utilities in org.jfree.chart. A collection of utility methods for JFreeChart includes method for converting charts to image formats, PNG and JPG, plus creating some simple HTML image maps. Overview in clip path. This class is used by the contour plot class. This class is now removed from JFreeChart. Class clip path org.jfree.chart in. This class would typically be used with the contour plot. It allows the user to define a general path curve in plot coordinates. The curve can then be used mask off or define regions within the contour plot. The data must be shorted. This class is deprecated as of the version 1.0.4 and now it's removed. Overview in drawable legend item. This to use to represent legend plus its physical drawing characteristic, position, label, location, etc. as it is being laid out on the chart. This is now removed. Class drawable legend item in org.jfree.chart. This class is now removed. This class contains the legend, single legend item along with the position details for drawing the item on a particular chart. This class is deprecated as of version 1.0.2 as it is no longer used by JFreeChart. Now it is removed. Overview in Effect 3D, an interface that should be implemented by the renderers that use the user 3D effect. This class is now removed. Interface Effect 3D in org.jfree.chart. This an interface that should be implemented by renderers that use 3D effect. This allows the access to mirror the same effect by querying the renderer. This allows the 3D access classes to synchronize their own 3D effect with that of the renderer and plot. Now this class is removed from JFreeChart. Overview in hash utilities, the utility class that assists the generation of hash codes. The class hash utilities in org.jfree.chart. This class is now removed. This class, some utility methods for calculating hash codes. This class is now removed. And this class was first introduced in JFreeChart 1.0.3 and now it's removed. Overview in JFreeChart. The JFreeChart class coordinates the entire process of drawing charts. The class JFreeChart in package org.jfree.chart. The chart class implemented using the Java 2D APIs. The current version supports bar chart, line chart, pie chart, and XY plots, including the time series data. The one method, public void draw graphics 2D G2 and rectangle 2D area, instructs the JFreeChart object to draw a chart into a specific area on some graphic device. The Java supports several graphic devices, including the screen printer, the printer, and buffered image via different implementation of abstract class java.aw.graphics2d. Thanks to this abstraction, JFreeChart can generate charts on any of these target devices as well as others implemented by third parties. For example, SVG generator implemented by Batic project. In broad terms, JFreeChart class set up a context for drawing a plot. A plot obtains data from a dataset and may delegate the drawing and individual data items in a category item renderer or an XY item renderer depending on the plot type. Not all plot types are renderers. The JFreeChart class can work with many different plot subclasses. Depending on the type of plot, the specific dataset will be required. Table here summarizes the combination that are currently available. Here the dataset and compatible plot types. Here box and whisker category dataset, compatible plot types, category plot with box and whisker renderer, box and whisker data XY dataset, XY plot with XY box and whisker renderer, and category dataset, category plot subclasses with various renderers or a spider web plot, contour dataset, contour plot, Gantt category dataset, category plot with Gantt renderer, interval category dataset, category plot with an interval renderer, interval XY dataset, XY plot with an XY bar renderer, OHL C dataset, XY plot with high low renderer or candlestick renderer, pi dataset, pi plot, statistical category dataset, category plot with the class statistical bar renderer, value dataset, compass plot, meter plot, and thermometer plot, wafer map dataset, wafer map plot, wind dataset, XY plot with the wind item renderer, XY dataset, XY plot with the various renderers, XY dataset, XY plot with the XY bubble renderer. Overview in legend item. The class that records the attributes of an item that should appear in a legend. See the legend title class. The class legend item in package org.jfree.chart, temporary storage object for recording the properties of a legend item without any consideration for layout issues. Instances of this class are usually created by a renderer, which should set attributes to match the visual representation of the corresponding series. This table lists the attributes defined by the class. The attributes and the description. Label. The label usually the series name. Description, a description of the item not currently used. Shape value, a flag that indicates whether or not the shape is visible. Shape, the shape displayed on the legend item. Shape field, a flag that controls whether or not the shape is filled. Fill paint, fill paint, fill the paint, and shape outline visible, flag that indicate whether or not the shape outline is visible. Outline paint, outline, the outline paint, outline stroke, the outline is stroke. Line visible, the flag that indicate whether or not the line is visible. Line stroke, the line stroke, the line paint, the line paint. Overview in the legend item collection. A collection of legend items typically returned by the get legend items method in the plot classes. Class legend item collection in package org.jfree.chart, the collection of legend items. The overview in legend item source, the interface for obtaining a collection of legend items. Interface legend item source in package choke.jfree.chart. The source of legend items. The legend item will remain the list of often just one from it obtains legend items. This interface implemented or extended by plot to work for all plot types, category item renderer, XY item renderer. The legend title will use one or more of these sources to obtain legend item for displaying on a chart. This provides an opportunity to legend to display just a subset of the items from a chart if required. Overview in legend rendering order, a class that defines tokens that control the order of the items in the legend. The class legend rendering order in package org.jfree.chart represent the order of rendering for legend items. Overview in polar chart panel, an extension of the chart panel class with the pop-up menu that applies to polar charts. The class polar chart panel in package chalk.jfree.chart. Polar chart panel is a top-level object used for the polar chart polar plot. Since this class has a JPanel in the instance hierarchy, one uses this class to integrate the polar plot into their application. Now we are considering a simple here you can see a simple pie chart in sample charts. This figure shows a simple pie chart. JFreeChart can create pie chart using any data that conforms the pie dataset interface. This figure shows a simple pie chart. Now we are considering downloading and installing JFreeChart. The JCommand runtime jar file is included in the JFreeChart download, but if you require the source code recommended, then you should download the JCommand from here. The JCommand is a Java class library that is used by the JFreeChart, Pentaho reporting, and a few other projects. The library contains miscellaneous classes that support configuration and dependency management code, general logging framework, text utilities, use interface classes for displaying information about applications, custom layout managers, date chooser panel, serialization utilities. JCommand is licensed under terms of the JNU Lesser General Public License LGPL version 2.1 or later. You can download the latest version of the JFreeChart from http://www.jfreech.org/jfreechart/download. There are two versions of JFreeChart download files, jfreechart-1.0.9.tar.gz, JFreeChart for Linux and Unix, JFreeChart 1.0.9.zip, JFreeChart for Windows. The two files contain same source code. The main difference is that all the text files in the zip download have been recorded to have both carriage return and line feed characters at the end of each line. And if you want, the JFreeChart uses common class library, currently version 1.0.12. The JCommand runtime jar file is included in the JFreeChart download. If you require the source code recommended, then you should also use the JCommand from here. Now we are considering creating a pie chart. In creating your first chart in using JFreeChart, we will use the chart factory class as follows here. The package the class JFreeChart in package jfree.chart, a chart class implemented using the Java 2D APIs. The current version supports bar chart, line chart, pie chart, and XY plots, including time series data. This is one of the steps of and in step 2 how we present the data set created we need to create a JFreeChart object that can do a chart using the data from our Pi data set. We will use the chart factory class as follows here. Notice how we pass the reference to the data set to the factory method. JFreeChart keeps reference to this data set so that it can obtain the data later on when it is drawing the chart. The chart that we have created uses default default settings for most attributes. These are many ways to custom. There are many ways to customize the appearance of chart created with JFreeChart, but in this example we will just accept the default. Here the create chart. Legend true, tooltips true, and URLs false. Now we are considering section colors in pie charts. For example, here the pie plot here, the class pie plot template, type parameter k, extend comparable type parameter k, a plot that displays the data item in the form of a pie chart using data from any class that implements the pie data set interface. For example, shown here is generated by pie chart demo to Java program in the documentation, including the Java JFreeChart demo collection. The method set section public void set section paint comparable key and paint sets the paint associated with the specified key and send the plot change event to all registered listeners. The default fill color of the pie sections are allocated automatically inside the lookup section paint comparable boolean method of the pie plot class. The first time a plot is rendered, if you don't like the default colors, you can set them yourself using the set section paint comparable and paint method. For example, here this a demo that uses colors included in the JFreeChart demo collection. In addition to the pre-series section color attributes, there is also a base or default setting. For more information, refer the documentation for the pie plot class. Here you can see now we are considering creating a bar chart in bar charts. Taking a shortcut, we use the chart factory class to create a JFreeChart instance. The method public static JFreeChart create bar chart string title, string category axis label, string value axis label, string category dataset, category dataset, plot orientation, and boolean legend, boolean tooltips, and boolean URLs. Create a bar chart The chart object returned by this method uses a category plot instance as the plot with the category axis for the domain axis and num axis as the range axis and the bar renderer as the renderer. To create a JFreeChart instance that do a bar chart for this example dataset here. Taking a shortcut, we use the chart factory class to create JFreeChart instance. Most of the arguments of the create bar chart method are obvious, but a few of them demand further explanation. Plot orientation can either be horizontal or vertical. For bar charts, this corresponds to the way the bars are drawn, horizontally or vertically. The tooltips flag, whether or not the tooltip generator is added to the chart. In this example here, we have set this flag to true, so that we will see the tooltips when we display the chart in a swing application. URLs flag is only relevant when creating a drill down reports using HTML image map, so we can set it to false here. After we have completed this first bar chart example, we can see this here. Chart title, domain axis label, range axis label, data, orientation, include legend, tooltips, URLs. Constructing the chart in line chart based on a category dataset in line chart. Here is the code. The method public static JFreeChart create line chart string title, string category axis label, string value axis label, string dataset, plot orientation, boolean legend, boolean tooltips, boolean URLs. Creates a line chart with this default settings. The chart object returned by this method uses category plot instance as the plot with the category axis for the domain axis and a number axis as the range axis and a line and shape renderer as the renderer. To create a line chart method in the chart factory class provides the convenient way to create the chart. Here is the code. This method constructs the JFreeChart object with the title legend, with title and no legend, and plot with the appropriate axis, renderer and tooltips generator. The dataset in the one is the one created before, already created one. Create chart. Here chart title, domain axis label, range axis label, data, plot orientation, include region is false, and tooltips and URLs false. Now we are considering constructing the chart in time series chart. In time series charts, the create time series chart method in the chart factory class provides the convenient way to create the chart. The method public static JFreeChart create time series chart string title, string time axis label, string value axis label, xy dataset, boolean legend, boolean tooltips, boolean URLs, creates and returns a time series chart. A time series chart is an xy plot with a date with the date axis for the axis x-axis and the number axis for the y-axis. The default renderer is an xy line and shape renderer. The create time series chart method in the chart factory class provides the convenient way to create a chart. This method constructs a JFreeChart object with the title, legend, and a plot with an appropriate axis, and a renderer. The dataset is already created. Title, x-axis label, y-axis label, data, create legend, generate tooltips, generate URLs. Now we are considering chart title in chart attributes in customizing charts. The title is an instance of text title. You can obtain the reference to the title using getTitle method. The class text title in package org.jfree.chart.title, the chart title that displays a text string with automatic wrapping as required. A chart has one title that can appear at the top, bottom, left or right of the chart. You can also add subtitles. The title is an instance of text title. You can obtain a reference to the title using getTitle method. To modify the title without changing the font or position, here you can use set title here. The placement of the title at the top, bottom or left or right of the chart is controlled by the property of the title itself. To move the title to the bottom of the chart here, now we are considering updating the data set in a demo application in dynamic charts. In the demo, in dynamic charts, updating the in the demo, the data set is updated by adding data to the two time series from separate threads managed by the following timer. Note that the JFreeChart does not use the thread synchronization. between the chart drawing code and the data set update code. So this approach is a little unsafe. Another point to note that at one point while investigating reports of a memory leak in JFreeChart, this demo is running on a test machine for about 6 days. As the chart updates, you can see the effect of the garbage collector. Over the 6-day period, the total memory used remained constant, while the free memory decreased as the JFreeChart discarded temporary object garbage and increased at the point where the garbage collector did its work. Here the add total observation, adds the observation to the total memory time series. Add free observation is the add then observation to the free memory time series. Here these are custom made methods. Now we are considering pie charts in generating tooltips in tooltips. The PyPlot class generates the tooltips using the pie tooltips generator interface. The interface pie tooltip generator in package org.jfree.chart.labels in labels. A tooltip generator that is used by the PyPlot class. The PyPlot class generates tooltips using Py tooltips generator interface. The standard implementation standard Py tool tip generator is provided, and you are free to create your own implementation. To set the tooltip generator, use the following method in the PyPlot class. The method is public void set tooltip generator, Py tooltip generator. Now we are considering assigning a label generator. In displaying item labels in item labels, to assign a generator to a category item renderer, use the following code. The class standard category item label generator in package org.jfree.chart.labels, a standard label generator that can be used with the category item renderer. Item labels are created by a label generator that is assigned to a renderer. The same mechanism is also used for tooltips. To assign a generator to a category item renderer, use the following code. To similarly to assign a generator to an XY item renderer, use the following code. You can customize the behavior of the standard generator via settings that you can apply in the constructor, or you can create your own generator. Now we are considering adding an additional axis in an example in multiple axis and data sets. To add an additional axis to a plot, you can use the set range axis method. The method public void set range axis int index and value axis class in class xy plot in package jfree.chart.plot sets an range axis and send the plot change event to all registered listeners. To add an additional axis to the plot, you can use set range axis method. The set range axis method is used to add the axis to the plot. Note that an index of 1 has been used. You can add as many additional axes as you require by incrementing the index each time you add a new axis. The set range axis location method allows you to specify where the axis will appear on the chart using axis location class. You can have the axis on the same side as the primary axis, so on the opposite side. The choice is yours. An example, bottom or right, as is specified, this which means for a range axis on the right if the plot has a vertical orientation, or the bottom if the plot has a horizontal orientation. At this point, no additional data set has been added to the chart, so if you were to display the chart, you would see additional axis, but it would have no data plotted against. But here the completed example here. Now we are considering constructing a chart in combined domain category plot in combined charts. The key step is the creation of a combined domain category plot instance to which subplots are added. The combined domain category plot, the class combined domain category plot in package org.jfree.chart.plot, a combined category plot where the domain axis is shared. The demo application, for example, the combined category plot demo 1.java available for download with JFreeChart developer guide, provide an example of how to create this type of chart. The key step is the creation of a combined domain category plot instance to which the subplots are added. Category axis, notice how these subplots has been added with the weights of 2, the second argument of the add method, while the subplot 2 has been added with the weight of 1. The control this controls the amount of space allocated to each plot. The subplots are regular category plot instances. That have had their domain axis set to null. For example, in the demo application, the following code is being used. it includes some customization of subplots. Now we are considering Java server pages in miscellaneous. The developers that are interested in using JFreeChart with JSP will want to check out the Seawolf project. Seawolf can be used inside a servlet or JSP based web application to embed complex graphical chart in all kinds, for example line, pie, bar, chart, plots, etc. into a web page. Therefore it provides a full feature stack library to define all projects of the chart, strokes, legend, etc. Thus the JSP which embeds the chart is not polluted with any Java code. Everything is described in XML conform tags. Developers that are interested in using JFreeChart with JSP will want to check out the Seawolf project. So this description is from their own website. In their own site, this is what they are telling about Seawolf. Now we are considering chart color in package org.jfreechart.chart. The overview. This class defines some standard colors. The package org.jfree.chart core classes including JFreeChart and chart panel. Class chart color. Class to extend the number of colors available to the charts. This extend the java.awt.color object and extend the number of final colors publicly accessible. Category point annotation in package org.jfree.chart.annotations. An annotation for a category plot that displays a text item and an arrow pointing towards a point on a chart defined by the category value pair. Package org.jfree.chart.annotations, a framework for adding annotations to charts. Class category point annotation, an arrow and label that can be placed on a category point. The arrow is drawn at a user definable angle so that it points towards the category value location for the annotation. This class implements the category annotation interface and was first introduced in JFreeChart 1.0.3. Overview in axis in package org.jfree.chart.axis, an abstract base class representing an axis. The package org.jfree.chart.axis axis classes and interfaces. Class axis, the base class for all accesses in JFreeChart. Subclasses are divided into those that display the values, value axis, and those that display categories, category axis. Some subclasses of plot, including category plot and XY plot, will use the axis to display data. Overview in abstract block in package org.jfree.chart.block. A base class for implementing a block which is used as a layout unit in JFreeChart, particularly for a legend title class. The package org.jfree.chart.block blocks and layout classes used extensively by the legend title class. Class abstract block, a convenience class for creating new classes that implement the block interface. Subclasses include block container, block color block, empty block, label block, legend graphics, and title. Overview in chart editor in package org.jfree.chart.editor, an instance that defines the API that needs to be supported by a chart editor. Package org.jfree.chart.editor provides a simple but so far incomplete framework for editing chart properties. Interface chart editor. A chart editor is typically a J component containing a user interface for modifying the properties of a chart. A chart editor should be a subclass of J component. Overview in encoder util in package org.jfree.chart.encoders. A utility class containing a statics method for encoding images in several formats, PNG and JPG, are supported in most cases. Package org.jfree.chart.encoders. Classes related to the encoding of charts to different image formats. Class encoder util, a collection of utility methods for encoding images and returning them as a byte array or writing them directly to an output stream. The method in this class are called by chart utilities class and make use of encoders pre-configured in the image encoder factory class. Overview in category item entity in package org.jfree.chart.entity. This class is used to convey information about an item within a category plot. Package org.jfree.chart.entity classes representing components of or entities in a chart. Class category item entity, a chart entity that represents one item within a category plot. The information captured includes the data set containing the item, the series and category identifying the item, area occupied by the item at the time the chart was rendered, and the tooltip and URL text, if any, generated for this item. Overview in axis change event in package org.jfree.chart.event. An event that can be sent to an axis change listener to provide information about a change to an axis. Package org.jfree.chart.event. Event classes and listener interfaces used to provide a change notification mechanism so that charts are automatically redrawn whenever changes are made to any chart component. Class axis change event, a change event that encapsulates information about a change to an axis. Overview in dynamic drive tooltip tag fragment generator in package org.jfree.chart.imagemap, a tooltip fragment generator that generates tooltips that are designed to work with a dynamic dynamic drive DHTML tip message library. http ://www.dynamicdrive.com. This class implements the tooltip tag fragment generator interface, package org.jfree.chart.imagemap, classes including ImageMap, utils for creating HTML image maps, class dynamic drive tooltip tag fragment generator generates tooltips using the dynamic drive DHTML tip message library. Overview in abstract category item label generator in package org.jfree.chart.labels. An abstract base class for creating item labels for an category item renderer. Package org.jfree.chart.labels generators and other classes used for display of item labels and tooltips. Class abstract category item label generator, a base class that can be used to create a label or tooltip generator that can be assigned to a category item renderer. Known subclasses include the standard category tooltip generator, standard category item label generator. The generator uses the Java message format class to construct labels by substituting any or all of the object listed listed. Overview in arrow needle in package org.jfree.chart.needle, a class that draws an arrow needle for the compass plot class. Package org.jfree.chart.needle, a range of objects that can be used to represent the needle on a compass plot. Class arrow needle, a needle in the shape of an arrow. Overview in category marker in package org.jfree.chart.plot. A marker that can be used to highlight category in a category plot. The package org.jfree.chart.plot plot classes and related interfaces. The class category marker, a marker for the for a category. The marker can be drawn as a line, as in this figure, or as a rectangle. Markers are added to the plot using the add domain marker methods in the category plot class. Here you can see category marker drawn as a line. Overview in dial plot in package org.jfree.chart.plot.dial, a plot that displays value from value dataset in a dial format. The package org.jfree.chart.plot.dial, classes for creating dial plots. Class dial plot, a dial plot composed of user definable layers. The example shown here is generated by the dial demo2.java program included in the JFreeChart demo collection. The main class in this package is the dial plot class. Overview in abstract renderer in package org.jfree.chart.renderer, an abstract class that provides support for the features common to all renderer implementations. The package org.jfree.chart.renderer, the core support for the plugin renderers used by the category plot and XY plot classes. Class abstract renderer, the base class providing common services for renderers. Most methods that update attributes of the renderer will fire the renderer change event, which normally means that the plot that owns the renderer will receive notification that the renderer has been changed. The plot will in turn notify the chart. The abstract class that provides support for the features common to all renderer implementations: colors, line styles and shapes for each series, paint, fill paint, outline paint, stroke, outline, stroke, shape, series visibility, series in a legend visibility, item label visible, item label font, item label paint, positive item label positions, negative item label positions, chart entity generation. This base class is extended by abstract category item reader and abstract XY item reader. Overview in area renderer in package org.jfree.chart.renderer.category, a renderer that represents the items in a category dataset using a polygon that fills the area between axis and the data points. An example shown in this figure. The package org.jfree.chart.renderer.category plugin renderers for the category plot classes. Class area renderer, the category item renderer that draws area charts. You can use this renderer with the category plot class. The example shown here is generated by the area chart demo 1 Java programming code in the JFreeChart demo collection. This renderer is designed for use with category plot class. This is an area chart here. This is actually the area demo 1, yeah. And an area chart demonstration here. We use this subtitle as an example of what happens when you get a really long title or subtitle. Overview in candlestick renderer in package org.jfree.chart.renderer.xy. A candlestick renderer draws each item from an OHLC dataset as shown as a box with lines extending from the top and bottom. The package org.jfreechart.renderer.xy plugin renderers for the XY plot classes. Here's the class candlestick renderer. A renderer that draws candlesticks on an XY plot requires a OHLC dataset. An example shown here is generated by the candlestick demo chart demo 1.java programming code in the JFreeChart demo collection. Candlestick charts are typically used to display financial data. The box represents an open and closing prices, while the lines indicates that the high and low prices for a trading period, often a day, often one day. The renderer is designed for use with XY plot class. This is a sample chart here. Overview in chart deleter in package org.jfree.chart.servlet, a utility class that maintains a list of temporary files, chart images created by the servlet utilities class and deletes them at the expiry of an HTTP session. Package org.jfree.chart.servlet classes for providing useful servlet and JSP functionality. Class chart deleter used for deleting charts from the temporary directory when the user session expired. Overview in legend title in package org.jfree.chart.title. A legend displays a label for the series in a chart, usually along with a small graphic item that identify the series by color or style. The package org.jfree.chart.title classes used to display chart titles and subtitles. The class legend title, the chart title that displays a legend for the data in the chart. For example, this figure shows the chart with two legends, one on the left showing the columns for series S1, S2 and S3, and the other on the right showing the color series S4. Overview in category URL generator in package org.jfree.chart.utils. A category URL generator is used to generate a URL for each data item in a category plot. The package org.jfree.chart.urls classes for adding URLs to charts for HTML image map generation. Interface category URL generator, a URL generator for items in a category dataset. The generator is associated with the plots renderer, an instance of category item renderer, and the URLs are used when you create HTML image map for chart image. Overview in relative date format in package org.jfree.chart.util, a custom date formatter that shows elapsed time in hours, minutes and seconds relative to some predefined point in time. The package org.jfree.chart.util flex utility classes used by JFreeChart. The class relative date format, a formatter that formats dates to show the elapsed time relative to some base date. You can use this formatter to format the labels on an axis that shows elapsed time. For example, relative date format demo1.java. This class was first introduced in JFreeChart 1.0.3. Overview in normal distribution function 2D in package org.jfree.data.function. A function that returns the values for a normal distribution. See this figure here. The package org.jfree.data.function representation for simple functions. The class normal distribution function 2D, a normal distribution function. Here the chart using the samples from normal distribution function 2D. Overview in date range in package org.jfree.data.time, an extension of the range class that is used to represent the date or time range. The package org.jfree.data.time, interfaces and classes for time related data. Class date range, a range specified in terms of two java.util.date objects. Instances of this class are immutable. In JFreeChart, the primary use for this class is for specifying the range of values for display on a data axis. Overview in rectangle anchor in JCommon. This class defines an enumeration of 9 common anchor points within a rectangle. The package org.jfree.chart.ui utility classes that relate to user interface and items. Enum rectangle anchor used to indicate an anchor point for a rectangle. Here the rectangle, you can see the rectangle anchor points. As an example, we can consider this one for exception example. JFreeChart draw method throw null point exception. Exception in thread main java.land.null point exception at org.freehep.graphics io.emf.emf graphics 2d write pane at org.freehep.graphics io.emf.emf graphics 2d write stroke org.freehep.graphics io.abstract vector graphics io.set stroke at org.jfree.chart.plot.draw outline etc. As another example, we can consider this one: method create chart class org.jfreeChart factory cannot apply to given types. Required java.lang.string java.lang string java.lang string org.free data.category dataset, etc. here.